One particular pastor is saying that there is a curse. The other one used to teach that there is a curse, and now he has left. We're talking about Creflo Dollar in that particular space. On the other side, we are speaking about Adeboye in Nigeria, speaking about that particular same subject. It's the Christianity Show. We do daily Christian commentary videos. If it's the first time over here, do check out the other videos that are down in the pinned comments. If there is none, don't worry. Subscribe to the channel. There will be other videos that will be made available. So hit the video, like button there. It does help it out in the algorithm. So let us make this comparison between what one is saying versus what the other one used to teach and is now denouncing.
Because if you attract a curse, particularly from God to yourself, you can forget your generation. That's why when we talk about pay your tithe, it's not a minor thing. You read it, Malachi chapter 3, read it from verse 8 to 11. If your physical father curses you, go to your spiritual father, he can cancel the curse. If your pastor, your spiritual father curses you, run to the general overseer, he can cancel the curse. If the general overseer curses you, fast for 40 days and nights and beg his Father in heaven, God can cancel the curse. If God curses you, where will you go?
At one particular point, I do know that Adeboye used to teach, or he teaches, that you actually can go to hell for not paying your tithe. So he's not joking. It's not something he doesn't believe, or it's not something that he kind of like just slept on or something like that. No, he is very much convinced that the sacrifice of Jesus on the cross does you nothing if you don't pay tithe. There is nothing that can separate us from God. Particularly, you know what? Romans chapter number 8, go read it yourself. But let's go to the confession of Creflo Dollar.
I want to start off by saying to you that I'm still growing. Teachings that I've shared in times past on the subject of tithing were not correct. And today I stand in humility to correct some things that I've taught for years and believed for years, but could never understand it clearly because I had not yet been confronted with the gospel of grace, which has made the difference. Throw away every book, every tape, and every video I ever did on the subject of tithing, unless it lines up with this. I've done some corrective teaching in the last 10 years, but not to the degree of what we're getting ready to do now.
Now, Creflo, on the other hand, used to teach this teaching so hard. Right now, he says, no, every material you had, if you had a DVD, you had what, take it and throw it into the dustbin. There are people that would have defended this teaching by what he used to teach and what he used to propagate for. But now, all of a sudden, Mandem has changed. Now, Mandem has decided, no, you know what, I think I was wrong on this subject. But it took him how long? People have been calling Creflo Dollar out for the past 10 years. For as long as I've seen videos, as a matter of fact, out there, they've been calling him out. All the way back in 2010, I've seen videos from back then that were calling Creflo Dollar out. But he only came to the conclusion now. Now, this is why we ask these questions. If you are listening to men, does it not tell you you are at fault when those same men change their mind? Because you were listening to them. Now they changed their mind. All of a sudden, no, Mandem has changed. He's no longer believing that. So which tells you the man never consulted the Bible. He believed something else. You see, Creflo Dollar exposes something here. Creflo Dollar says it showed that he didn't understand the message of grace. Okay? It shows that he didn't understand the message of grace. So he had avoided the center of God's heart. So he couldn't convey God's heart in the proper way. So he thought money comes over the message of salvation, which is what Adeboye is doing on the other hand, because they didn't understand the message of grace. We keep explaining this. If you are waiting for them to change their mind, you are waiting for another thing. You might go to hell first before you even think it. The pocket does not determine salvation. But Adeboye preaches that. He's even saying you can curse yourself. God can curse you. By what would he be preaching that by? He uses Malachi. And Malachi is very clear who it's addressing inside there. Okay? Show me one place where the disciples are instructed to pay tithe. You won't find it. Now, you can use a verse from Malachi, but you have to acknowledge something that the apostles taught that we must do as we see them as our example, but you don't see them doing it. And as a matter of fact, Paul comes in and says, do not give because there is a need or because there is some type of want that is amongst people in a church or wherever. He says, no, not by compulsion. He says, let every person give as he has decided in his heart. Does that sound like give me 10%? Bazalani, also, I want to also mention, if you have decided to give 10%, that's your decision. Not because God is now instructing believers to do so. You'll remember that the disciples, as a matter of fact, they sat down at a particular point and said, we need to talk about what is it that the newer believers must believe who are from outside, who are Gentiles, because this is not Jewish faith. This is not the Jewish faith. Yes, it comes from there, but it is not the Jewish faith. This is the faith of the Messiah. What does it look like? And they said, we do not put upon them the laws that we ourselves back then could not keep. That is not required. But nowadays, you have people like Adeboye who just straight looks at you and says, God will curse you. Does that sound like a man who has the heart of God? Creflo Dollar says, no, I missed the message of grace when it comes to how a church operates. And as a result of that, he misled a lot of people. And we hope those people can change, but it took them 10 years. And if you're waiting for someone to take 10 years in order for them to correct themselves in doctrine, you're waiting for another thing. The Bible is enough. There's a lot of mandems out there that do not have the heart of God. And this is recent. This is over the last couple of days when he made these particular claims. It's sad that people choose to follow me. How many people do you think died before they repented like Creflo Dollar? Now, don't get it twisted. If Creflo Dollar changes on his doctrine and he says, hey, ban everything, he is forgiven. You died in your... Continue.